And we're live. We're live.
You know what I missed tonight?
What's that?
What I'm missing right now is your nuts in my mouth.
Oh, yeah. Well, you ate up all my nuts last time you came over.
So I came over.
You put all of your
I'm looking for the honey roasted. I'm looking for the dry roasted.
No nuts.
I'm looking for the...
No almonds, pecans.
Cashews.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to this episode of Comiholics. This is 23, I think. Yeah. So, as you can see, we're trying video. Because everyone's like, you gotta do a video. We're like, hey, we had pictures. And they're like, pictures don't count. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So, here's some video.
Cheers.
And right now we are in not Comiholics HQ. We're actually in the
Secret Hideout number 12.
Yes. And this is his bar. These taps work if there was a keg hooked up to them.
Soon.
Which there isn't. You got stuff brewing, though.
Well, getting ready to brew. I just picked a bunch of hops. So, okay. Very exciting stuff.
And where's the mead?
The mead?
The mead. It's only been brewing for like a year and a half.
No, it's been fermenting for like 2 years, and the next time I open a bottle of that, I want to make sure I have nothing to do the next day whatsoever.
I think, actually, what you need to do is drink that and then go to the fairgrounds and walk around all day getting dehydrated.
That sounds fantastic.
That I think, is the best idea.
Pick one ride and just ride the same ride over.
Woo! Do it again! Do it again!
And just be just as excited the first time as I will. Yeah. Yeah. No, kid.
All right,
no.
So right now you are drinking...
Sierra Nevada in a can.
And I am drinking Big Flats. I'm drinking the Walmart... or Walgreens.
For you cheap bastards out there.
This is the
come down to Walgreens and buy
$3 for a 6-pack, and for that kind of money, this cannot be beat. This is not a bad beer, especially for that price.
It's like Wada. I could probably drink like a case of that.
But get you drunk.
That's right. After a case. And there you go.
But then we also have some bottles in there, a Blue Moon. So we can pop those open at some point.
I got some Scottish ales in there still.
And where's that brandy?
She's a fine girl.
Because that was such a good move.
I keep her under the bar.
We were drinking brandy 2 episodes ago, and it went well.
It went
very well.
The next day was horrible. I think I had to work. It was not a good experience.
So as you can tell, we've got the mood lighting going. This is not a bright lit show like It Figures or Video Game Losers or any of those type shows that we do.
We're in a dingy old bar in my garage. You know, it's got to have that.
We're in Moe's Tavern.
Moe's Tavern, that's right.
Oh, by the way, they actually tore down Moe's Tavern. Did you see that?
Oh, they finally did tear down the alley?
There is a... there was a bar here in town.
Self-proclaimed Moe's Tavern.
It was the
alley?
The alley, and then Shockers.
Yeah, something.
And then Condemned.
It was like the dive bar to go to. I mean,
and our friend was bartender there. Yeah, so that tells you a lot about us.
Very bad.
But yeah, they tore it down and put it in the grocery store.
Oh, good.
So downtown is going to have a grocery store.
Yeah, it was just plagued with graffiti and boarded up windows.
Well, it was one of those places where, like, you'd walk in and certain parts of the room had hardwood floors and certain parts were plywood and certain parts, I'm pretty sure, were just like cardboard boxes kind of sliced and just stuffed into the ground.
And the rats were waitresses.
So it was nice. Now the microphone's here.
Oh.
So be careful, don't turn too much to the camera. We're gonna lose your voice.
You're hearing me here.
But you're seeing
me here.
See, it's the magic of doing this. So, we do not have the usual format that we do. Normally on this show, we've got a segment where we talk about what we're reading. Then we have a segment about like a mini-series or a trade paperback. And then we do a segment on like a hardcover or another trade. We're not doing that this time.
No, this is freestyle. We're actually taking live callers right now. No, we're not doing that.
Although we could take calls. We could take voicemails and answer them. But no, it's been a while since we've done one. We've both been reading a lot of stuff. So we've just decided that this show is going to be, going over everything in comics.
Right.
Everything we're reading, just talking about it. So that's what you're getting. No special look at anything, but, we're going to be talking Walking Dead. We're going to be talking Avengers versus X-Men. We're going to be talking Court of the Owls.
We already did Court of the Owls. Well,
we did Night of the Owls. And then as soon as Night of the Owls ended was the big reveal. Right. So we got to cover all that, too. So some
DC, Marvel, AVX.
So you've got some digital and some paper. Right. I've got some digital. I've got some paper. So
ASM, Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh my goodness!
So
there's a lot to cover.
So why don't you start?
Why don't we go back and forth? I think I'd appreciate that more.
Okay. Well, let's not
tag team.
Let's not do 1 and 1. Like do 2 or 3, and then 2 or 3.
So how about ASM? What did you think of that annual? The Erase from Existence, where like he's like having all these flashbacks of what it'd be like.
I didn't read that.
Okay. Well, it's a good annual actually. I liked it a lot. Basically, he has somehow he's going to be erased from time because who's that tinkering guy in Horizon Labs?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Right.
Well, he goofs again. And Spider-Man gets sucked back into alternate reality where he doesn't exist.
I remember flipping through it, and isn't it like they change the art styles every time he's in a different time period?
It's really clean. It's nice. I like it.
Right, well, that looks standard. But then, like, when he goes to the past, doesn't it look like a 50s comic?
Yes, it goes back to... I can find it here. It's a very, very retro. It goes back to Peter Parker, like, right before they're going to go to...
Oh, wait. I think I did read this. Is this the one where Uncle Ben comes
Uncle
back
Ben,
at the
Ben's
end?
alive.
Yes, I did read this. I did read this.
Uncle Ben before he disappears because...
That was really good.
Did you like this one?
That was, like, brings, like, one tear. Like, one single tear coming down your cheek.
But you know what? It's not the first time Ben has come back to, give him inspiration. I don't know. Where are those pages? There was really... You pointed it out.
Up close to the front, aren't they? Like, right when he goes back?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
They won't be able to see it. You're too far away. But yeah, I did read that. That was really good.
But what I liked about it
Who wrote that?
Reed.
So it's not Dan Slott, right?
No. Brian Reed. Lee Garbett was pencils.
That's the guy. Lee Garbett is the guy who did Batgirl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That series we both liked a lot.
I like Batgirl, so very good. Positive criticism about it is I liked, once again, Peter Parker's like, he always feels like he's kind of like this bumbling superhero that makes a lot of mistakes. A lot of people pay the price. And now his new motto is, nobody dies when I'm around. And he comes to this realization that might quite possibly, the world would be better without Spider-Man. Like, he starts to rethink all the things that happened. But then his uncle brings him back.
Right.
To his senses, and because in this alternate reality he's in, his uncle's alive, and anyways, so good stuff. Moving on to Batgirl.
Okay, now not this Batgirl. He drew the other Batgirl, the Stephanie Brown.
Oh, Stephanie Brown. Okay, yeah, this is Aletha Martinez.
Sure.
Okay. In this one,
didn't she sing Respect?
She's facing this.
Aletha?
Yes.
Aletha?
This Aretha.
Oh, my mistake.
In this one, she faces like this super baddie. It's like girl on girl fighting going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember because it wasn't.
If it doesn't stand out,
yeah, I know.
That's got to tell you something right there. When you can't remember exactly.
Basically,
this is great.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. No, I'm sorry. Basically, now I remember. There's these vigilantes for hire to like protect this bank or whatever. At the beginning, Barbara is like fighting these kids that are like robbing cars in this parking lot. So she fights them, and one kid runs away and falls into a big old bear trap.
What?
And loses his leg.
What?
And it's because of these guns for hire set up these bear traps to like.
So they're like female punishers.
Yeah. So I guess that's why I don't remember very much. It wasn't the greatest.
And is it like a one and done story?
I think so.
Wow.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully. How about Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Okay. Spider-Man, I like.
Cha-ching! I don't have the third one because I haven't gone to my local comic book
Oh, so you haven't read it yet?
Killing Enterprises, I haven't stopped by there yet.
The Pop Culture Network store, by the way. So you haven't read it yet?
Not the third one, no.
Oh. Because
what I really love about this is I enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I like the new character. What's his kid?
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. I just haven't caught up yet. I've only read up to like issue 3 or 4. So, but you don't really need to have read Ultimate Spider-Man to understand this. But to just fill you in a little bit, in Ultimate Spider-Man universe, New York City got flooded by, was it Dr. Doom's fault?
I thought it was Magneto.
Magneto, that's right, Magneto.
An ultimatum.
Right.
Right.
And a lot of people died.
And of course, Peter Parker died.
Peter Parker dies. A very long story short there. And then Miles Morales takes over. His uncle, like, robs some place, and like the same kind of spider that...
Well, no, it's Norman Osborn.
Right.
Was, of course, trying to figure out how Spider-Man got his powers.
Right.
So he was doing experiments on spiders, trying to figure out how to make it. And Miles Morales' uncle is a thief. He's the prowler of the Marvel Universe. And so he actually breaks into Norman Osborn's labs to steal a bunch of equipment, and one of these spiders crawls into his bag, and it ends up biting Miles. So Miles gets spider-like powers, but they're not the same.
Yeah, he's got some added powers.
He's got venom.
He's got venom, and he can turn himself invisible.
Yeah. He's got camouflage.
Which I think is super cool.
And he's got organic web shooters.
And
right? Wait, does he?
No, he doesn't have. He doesn't have web shooters like...
I think it was Peter Parker in that universe had the organic web shooters.
Right.
And he doesn't?
No, he's got some, is it Tony Stark tech or something? I think he got Stark tech or something. Because remember in the beginning, Stark was trying to...
Well, anyway, regardless. Okay, well, 2 questions. Did you redeem the digital copy?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I just opened it up just enough to like peel the sticker and download the digital copy, and then I put it right back in.
Yeah, that's what I do a lot of times. Okay, second question. What do you think about Mysterio
and his
part of the story?
Well, is he the Mysterio from...
He's the Mysterio from the Ultimate Universe.
I thought so.
Because the Mysterio in the regular Marvel Universe is dead.
Did he die from the whole Octavius? No, he was
dead.
Oh,
no, wait. No,
he's not dead.
He faked his death, that's right. Because, Kevin Smith wrote a storyline where Mysterio died, but I guess he didn't really die. He faked it.
Well, because at the ends of the Earth, he's still alive.
Right. I forget about it. I always think back to that other story where he dies, because it was like this...
What's your question?
Brilliant, touching story. Okay, well, anyway, how do you feel about his whole...
Like, what's he all about?
Well,
because they don't really tell you.
Well, no, I mean...
Sorry, I just bumped the mic.
Well, don't touch the mic.
I apologize.
Don't touch the mic. What are you doing?
I apologize.
You're trying to get a drink from it?
I don't know.
It doesn't have beer in it. And
don't
spill beer on this one.
I gotta keep all electronics away from myself.
But no...
that's another story.
Like, the Spider-Man seems to be kind of 2 different storylines kind of smashed together, where one is... Peter Parker finds this alternate universe where he's dead, and then someone else is Spider-Man, and he's trying to figure out what exactly...
why he's dead, because he finds out he's
right.
dead.
He figures out that he's dead, but he's got to come to the realization that being Spider-Man could lead, like he's not dead, so obviously he thinks he's fine. Right. But there's obviously this idea that it could lead to his death.
And then there's the other twist, which I think I'm gonna say it to see if we're on the same page here. And then the other story is Miles Morales trying to understand Peter Parker.
No.
You weren't going to go that route?
That's not where I was going.
Okay, all right. What route were you going to go?
Well, what I'm saying is that there's this story about Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and Miles having to deal with the dead guy who he's trying to memorialize is now alive in front of him. I know, but that's not the other storyline. I'm saying one storyline. Stop interrupting me.
No.
One storyline is Peter Parker and Miles Morales. That's one storyline. It's Peter Parker and Miles Morales. The second storyline is Mysterio is attacking them.
Okay.
That's it. Like, if this storyline was Peter Parker falls into, like, this pocket dimension, finds himself in the Ultimate Universe, and has to deal with the fact that he's dead, and Miles Morales deal with the fact that he's alive, that would be a great story.
So you don't think this is set up for a very good premise?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, it's... I wish Mysterio wasn't battling them in the middle of this. I kind of wish that Mysterio was like, it's Peter Parker, blah. Oh, I threw him into this energy vortex. Now he's gone, yay. And then he goes and does whatever in New York, and you don't see him again until the last issue. Peter Parker, like, falls back into the regular universe, and you see, like, the Fantastic Four, like, chucking Mysterio back through. You're like, where the hell have you been? And then that's the end.
Right.
Because all of this Mysterio stuff I don't care about.
Right.
Like, the more I read, like, Mysterio has a rocket launcher, and he blows up their helicopter. It's like, well, I don't care. You know? I like...
But see, Mysterio wants to make sure he gets finished off.
Yeah, whatever. I don't give a crap.
I see your point.
I mean, that's a distraction.
Okay.
Because the key stuff that makes the story work is him, meeting with Nick Fury. And Nick Fury being like, wow, Peter Parker, he's still alive.
Right.
Like when Nick Fury of the Ultimate Universe...
And he believes he's Peter Parker right off the bat.
Nick Fury from the Ultimate Universe is in awe of somebody. That's a moment. There's something that happens in issue 3, which is why I wish you would read issue 3, because then we could discuss that. But what happens at the end of issue 3 is another one of those type moments.
So you don't like the Mysterio clones? How he's got all these different clones that he sends into
that doesn't make a difference.
Space.
Like to me, it's a distraction from the real story. Like it really doesn't play a part. It doesn't really matter.
Another question to add on to about Mysterio, because I know you just love Mysterio so much.
Well, it's not that I hate Mysterio. It's just the story. He's a distraction.
Right. Is his stylized character different in the Ultimate Universe versus the normal universe?
Well, that's what he looks like in the Ultimate Universe.
Okay. But it's different than what he is in the normal universe. Okay.
It's a more modern look.
Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, I have nothing against Mysterio as a character. It's just...
He doesn't hold as, like, a heavy hitter.
Well, but no, it's just there's no point to it. There's no point other than the fact that, hey, we're having this deep philosophical moment. I don't know how we're going to deal with the fact that, oh, holy crap, there's a fire. I mean, it's just kind of like, just go back.
But overall, how do you feel about Spider-Man?
It's good. It's not great.
I really like the first. I mean, I've only read the first couple issues. I haven't read the third, and there's only 5. So, but I really like the first issue when normal universe Peter Parker, Amazing Spider-Man, shows up and he looks out. He's like on a tower or something, looks out, and it's just...
The skyline is different, yeah.
Yeah. But, okay. So, your turn.
Oh. Alright. Let's talk about Avengers versus X-Men.
To cover here, so.
Avengers versus X-Men.
Ooh, okay, I got it all here somewhere.
You got some of those in there?
Yeah. Well, you have them all. I probably have some.
Actually, I'm missing number 6. I need to go back and get a 6. Oh, there's my Spider-Man number 3. Oh, look, there's number 3 right there.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't read me. You haven't read me. I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing. So you're doing the AVX tie-ins and all that too?
No.
Or?
I am not reading Versus. I'm not reading Academy. I'm not reading Uncanny. I'm not reading Legacy.
I'm not going to pull those out.
Well, you can pull them out and talk about them if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Sorry.
I'm a guard. I don't care. Oh, that's weird. I have a 3rd printing of 1, a 4th printing of 2, and a 2nd printing of 3. Because I don't care.
Well, which issues are you covering? 1 through 3?
No, I went through 7.
Let's see.
I read 6 online. I just don't have a copy.
Well, the AVXs, they're just battles between...
Yeah.
2 superheroes.
Yeah, this is the main storyline. That's all I really care about.
Right.
Have you read all the way up to 7?
I think so. Can I take a gander? I've read so much. The AVXs, to be honest with you, I'm not super thrilled. So when I did read them, I was just like, huh.
I've read a couple of them, but it's just
I haven't read this one.
Daredevil versus Psylocke. It's a draw.
Yeah.
You haven't read that one?
No, I haven't read that one.
Okay. Well, okay, so basically,
away.
I mean, here's here's the basic storyline: is the Phoenix Force is coming back to Earth.
Right.
Hope was rescued from the future, I guess, by Cable. He
brought back in time.
He brought her back in time. He's trained her to be a fighter. He feels she's going to reabsorb the Phoenix Force. Cyclops believes that she's going to lead to the rebirth of mutants because Scarlet Witch, destroyed all but 1% of the mutants in the world.
Right.
And so, in their attempt to protect the world, the Avengers basically tried to keep Hope safe. Cyclops rebelled against them, started a fight. They attacked the Phoenix Force on its way to Earth, and the Phoenix Force, instead of entering Hope,
splits up.
It splits
the X-Men,
and it goes into 5 different X-Men.
So Emma Frost, Cyclops,
Colossus, Magic.
Yeah, Magic.
And someone else.
Gambit?
No, not Gambit. Someone else pointless.
Yeah. Actually, it might show their pictures.
Yeah, actually, it'll show them in this one. But regardless,
and you've got some of the Avengers that have turncoated and taken sides with the X-Men.
Oh, Namor,
yeah. Oh, yeah, he's kind of one of the...
Because he's not a mutant, though. He's an Atlantean. But
right.
Regardless. So the Phoenix power goes into them, and it's weird because the first,
Oh, and don't forget, Cyclops has decided he's going to use this.
Well, okay, that's what I'm getting. Hold on. The first 4 issues are basically this fight in between the Avengers and the X-Men trying to find Hope. And they're journeying around the world trying to find her because she runs away and tries to hide, and they're trying to track her down, and who can get to her first, and they're trading blows back and forth, and whatever. And then the Phoenix Force splits, goes into those 5 X-Men, and that's the end of, issue 4.
Right.
And then you pick up issue 5, and it's weeks later, months later,
and all of a sudden, Cyclops has formed Utopia.
Built
it's this massive Utopia.
He's built this magical world, and they're
and
raising...
isn't it almost like in another dimension, sort of? It's it is Earth, but it's not Earth.
No, I think it's their own island.
Right. And they're on this mission to make the world better.
So they're growing crops in the deserts, and they're destroying all the missiles and bombs and tanks, and it just kind of struck me as odd that you've got the storyline has this flow in these beats, and you're hitting these beats, and the battle is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then suddenly time passes.
Right.
And you're just wait a minute, how
what happened to all the fighting?
What? You just get to the next issue, and they're sitting around talking.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole issue is oh, look, there's some stuff going on here. Let's discuss it. And then there's some stuff going on here. Let's discuss it. And then something happens. We'll talk about it. And then they go into to finally to steal Hope. They figure out where she is. They have this plan to go get her.
Go in there and
they bust in.
That, yeah.
They're we got to be out in a minute. Let's go.
Yeah, they got to do it in 1 minute.
So they bust in to grab her, and Scarlet Witch appears, and she's no, they're coming with me.
Right.
And then they're gone. And it's
that's where I ended. Was that round 6?
That's 6.
So I haven't read the very last one then.
And so, I mean, it's just it. Maybe I'm missing something because I'm not reading all the tie-in issues. I don't know if the tie-ins fill any of the gaps or clear up any of this ambiguity, but it just feels like they had a rhythm.
No, because all the other tie-ins are basically of the general theme from all the tie-ins is do I take the X-Men side or do I take the Avengers side? And then, generally speaking, that's pretty much what all the tie-ins are. And, with Avengers Academy, you got all these kids. Some of them were with the X-Men. Now they're with, from Wolverine and the X-Men. They're at the
Academy.
So,
but I'm just it feels especially because when you read Fantastic Four, none of this is happening. When you read Captain America and Iron Man, none of this is happening. When you read, anything else in the Marvel Universe that's not a direct tie-in that doesn't have the AVX banner on it,
right?
It doesn't matter. Like, it's not. There's no page in Daredevil where he's dealing with the fact that they're coming in.
Phoenix Force is there.
Yeah, like none of this. So on the one hand, it feels like it doesn't matter, and that's a problem with some of these big, company event storylines.
Well, it kind of felt like when we were at the panel at C2E2, it kind of felt like they were just saying what I was getting at.
Sorry, little glitch there, folks. Slight little issue, but we got it fixed now. You got your pants back on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're good.
Well, they can't tell. Can they? Yeah, they can.
All right. So when we were at the panel at C2E2, it seemed like
they were trying to allude that this is for fun. This isn't. It's not going to shock the Marvel universe. It's not going to be something like you said. It's not going to be very relevant to most of the other main storylines. So I think AVX is a great way to draw in new readers, where you don't really have to know a lot about the characters. I mean, you don't even really have to understand the plot. In fact, they make fun of it quite a bit in the second page of the book, where they're, what was it, like, questions and answers? You know what I'm talking about at the beginning of the AVX?
No.
Where's that?
That's issue 7.
Well, that's fine.
What are you looking for?
I just wanted to fondle your comics.
That's what she said.
Maybe it wasn't in these.
Are you sure it wasn't in the AVX?
Maybe
Versus?
Maybe it was just Versus I was reading that. Where they made it kind of campy, where at the beginning they're like, what do you need to know about this storyline? And it's like, nothing. You don't need to know anything about this storyline. Just pick it up and read it. And I think AVX this is pretty much the same thing. I mean, you don't need to know a lot about the characters, but if you just want to see some raw fighting and very little storyline and just...
But then it gets to that point, though, the last couple issues, where it isn't raw fighting, and it isn't just storyline, and then suddenly you're just like, well, wait, like, the whole tone has shifted, the whole storyline has changed, and... it's I don't know. It feels like there's some sort of transitioning element that's missing.
I still have that panel recorded. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that portion of that again when they were talking about this whole thing. Because it was just getting launched, I think, when C2E2 was going on. It was like
I think it was
month.
Announced. I don't think it had actually started yet.
Right.
So.
Okay.
All right. Well, no, go ahead. Go.
How about ASM, the current ASM, Ends of the Earth?
Well, Ends of the Earth has ended.
Okay, what did you think of it?
It was pretty much what I expected. He saves Dr. Octopus.
He does.
Horizon Labs is keeping them alive.
Hold on, back up. How'd you feel about that? Because I was kind of excited to be like, okay, finally, Doc Ock's a mess. He's basically a brain in a head in a robot body. There's nothing left of this guy. He's all stripped down.
Well, he's the Futurama joke. He's the head in the jar.
Yeah, he is.
And, I mean, how do I feel about them keeping him alive? I knew that was going to be the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
I knew the story was going to end with Doc Ock trying to do some sort of suicidal thing, and he said nobody dies, and he's going to save him. Did you read the tie-in in Avenging Spider-Man with Silver Sable?
Yes. I just finished it, actually.
Okay, because she's still trapped in the bottom of the ocean.
Right. Presumed dead.
And they can't find her. They have no idea where she is. So they had this flashback story of apparently the first time that they met.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff, which it was interesting, but is it important? Not really. I don't know.
I thought that was kind of the reason why they used her, because it didn't really matter if she wasn't going to be around and died.
Right. Well, it's not like she has her own series or anything.
No,
right?
No. And which is very critical to Peter Parker. Like we said earlier, his new thing is nobody dies when I'm around. Well, somebody died.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
She could still be alive.
It's Marvel. It is Marvel.
Maybe Namor came and she's now living with him.
Are you current with any of Wolverine, the last Wolverines?
Yes. Did you read the very latest one? What's the very latest one you have?
307, right?
No.
Yeah, 307.
There's been one after that. What's the last page of that one? I'll tell you right now. What's the last page? Flip to the last page.
There it is.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, that is not the most recent one.
Okay, well, I probably have one more to read. Figures.
Because the most recent one is the one we should be talking about.
Oh.
And that's the one you haven't read.
Well, in this one, he ends up...
Maybe when we take our next commercial break, I'll let you read that.
Okay.
I may have it in the stack, actually.
He ends up killing off the whole Rotwell family.
Right.
So,
what'd you think of the Rots?
Pretty twisted. I like, there's all these, like, jars of brains lying around, and what's Rotwell's name? The main...
I don't know.
Does this story trace back to, like, Weapon X and all that? Like, how does Rotwell have all this connection to...
I don't know.
There's some mysterious kind of how does this all connect, but again, it's Wolverine's sanity being challenged. In fact, Rotwell actually literally picks out Wolverine's brains through his nose and like uses them to make these like mutated monsters, and but it was kind of, it had that kind of campy horror.
Right. I mean, I definitely like the idea of, since he can regenerate,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Wolverine.
Well, it kind of goes with that whole idea of what happened with Deadpool. Mm-hmm. When Deadpool can regenerate, so this lady just saved a whole bunch of different pieces of him and sewed them together, and they regenerated, recombined.
Because Wolverine is like, somehow Rotwell figures out like some of his trigger commands from when he was in the Weapon X program, and he uses one to like turn him back into what was that guy's name, Cletus or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre stuff, and some of the other Rotwell characters, because like this guy like takes these people and splices and dices them and makes them part of the family.
Well, do you have the one
as well as he's got his grandfather that he's got like his heart's out of his chest and he's barely keeping his grandfather alive, and
have there been
everything he's doing is to impress his grandfather. And it reminded me so much of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you've got this like half rotten corpse in a chair, and like, the family's trying to appease him. So it's very much, and it's like in the woods somewhere, like this house is in the middle of nowhere.
So is 308 the last one you've read?
307.
Well, you've got 308 sitting right there.
Oh, maybe I did read 308.
Okay, but there's been two more
so
since
maybe it's 309 then.
No, because I've got 310 sitting right here. 309 has him kissing the chick on the cover.
Oh yeah, and Rotwell comes back in 308.
Okay. So there's actually two behind on that one. But 310 is the big issue everyone's talking about, because that's the one where Sabretooth returns.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about it. You're not going to spoil it for me.
Okay, well, there was a big deal with Sabretooth a couple years ago because he was decapitated by Wolverine.
Yeah, with that samurai sword, special...
Right, the special one that's from...
adamantium
from,
blade.
what's his face? From Romulus.
Okay, Romulus, yep.
And so he's been dead, and they were like, "That's it, that's."
Wasn't the robot Sabretooth that worked for somebody?
No, it was real Sabretooth.
Oh, okay.
It was real Sabretooth dead. So in this one, in 310, he's I forget who this guy is. That's not Romulus, is it? I don't know. Anyway, he
giant guy with a ponytail.
Yeah.
That's Romulus.
Yeah. So they tell him something. He fights Sabretooth. Like, he's trying to fight Romulus, and Sabretooth appears. So he fights Sabretooth again, and he's like, what the hell? Like, Sabretooth is supposed to be gone. Like, I don't understand how is Sabretooth still here? And so he ends up finding, like, this secret base, this secret Weapon X facility. Goes to the Weapon X facility, busts himself inside, and finds, basically, 100 clones of Sabretooth.
Oh, gosh.
So Sabretooth, the reason why Sabretooth kept coming back all these times was because there are all these clones of him. And so the question is, first of all, who's the real Sabretooth?
Right.
How do you stop this from happening? How many more of them are there throughout the world? But of course it ends with, Sabretooth coming to attack him. But that's how they explain away. He actually killed Sabretooth, and then Sabretooth made a couple more appearances, and people are like, wait, I thought you said he was dead. So they explained,
I thought it was like Android Sabretooth or something,
So they sure enough, the Weapon X facility had all these clones, and so there are some people that are like, like clones, Sabretooth, 100 Sabretooth clones, like, come on, it's like...
He'll never die, he'll just keep coming back.
It's like one of those, it's what you get from comics,
The endless drama of it all.
You always seem to get it. Avengers Assemble.
I have not been reading it.
Okay. This is their...
Should I read it?
This is basically their movie, inspired book. It's set in the regular Marvel universe, but it's got Thanos, who was in the movie. It's got Hawkeye and Black Widow shacking up and sharing a kiss.
Yeah, baby.
Because they had their thing in the movie, so they got to do all that. And it's definitely a style over substance type of storyline. You've got the big battles. You've just got people smashing things and bad guys blowing stuff up.
That's
for
a nice
no real
picture
reason.
of Hulk.
Yeah, the artwork's pretty nice in the book. This is Bagley, Mark Bagley, who did Amazing Spider-Man for a long time. Let's see. I don't know. It's just. I mean, it's okay. It's one of those where you read it, and then you're done, and you don't really think about
what
it.
you read.
Yeah. I'm not offended by it when I read it, but as soon as I'm done with it, I've forgotten it, and I move on to something else. So I can't say I hate it, but I can't say I love it either. All right, so what do you got? You want to talk about there?
Sorry.
Sure you are.
Message from the boss.
I bet.
All right,
are we being too loud out here?
No. Let's talk about Masters of the Universe. I've only read the first issue. I haven't read the second issue yet. They had a sale, 99 cents. So I couldn't resist.
Well, why don't you read part 2?
I was going to today. It's written by Jeff Johns. Howard Porter is the artist or penciler.
Oh, look, there's part 2. Ooh. This is the digital first. Right. This is not the regular comic book.
Which I love Comixology on the big tablet, because when you go from frame by frame, it's just massive. Love it. So, what did you think of the first couple issues?
It's all right. It's
a little bit more hack and slash and blood than you would think.
Well, okay, it's not the
cartoon version. More serious.
Have you read the regular first issue that also came out? Like, this is the digital first. Did you read the actual number 1 that came out? Okay. Because this gives a hint of background to something that happens that's kind of mentioned in the first issue. This storyline doesn't really flesh out a whole lot.
Right. You
just kind of know that in this world that there are beast men running around. Beast man is not unique. You meet this guy, Sir Laser-Lot, who was a
knight.
He was a knight for the king. And
King Grayskull.
King was killed, and he's got some sort of magical
triangle.
Skull. Well, no.
Oh, the skull too.
The red skull, which somehow gives power that he's protecting until a new king is found, king returns, whatever. And Skeletor at the end shows up to steal it, and that's where it ends, is with Skeletor appearing. In the actual comic, in the number 1 comic, Skeletor has the skull, but they don't really mention what it's for or anything. It's just there with him, and Sir Laser-Lot's nowhere to be found. So you assume he's got to be in the holding cells, you know, in the basement of his lair or whatever.
Was Laser-Lot a character in?
No. Okay, here's the thing.
In the
right now, the toys, they are making Masters of the Universe He-Man toys, but you cannot walk into a store and buy them.
Okay.
They are available online at MattyCollector.com. And they do sell some of them in Toys R Us in like these 2-packs, where it's like He-Man and Superman in a 2-pack for $30, or Skeletor and Lex Luthor in a 2-pack.
Weird.
Teela and Supergirl.
Why are they mixing it up like?
Just to try them, just to have them in there. I mean, they came out like a year ago in Toys R Us, but anyway, as part of this ongoing series that they're doing, it's the 30th anniversary of Masters of the Universe. Came out in '82, so they decided to have these special edition figures. And Jeff Johns was chosen to create a character that would be turned into a toy.
Okay.
So he created Sir Laserlot. And Sir Laserlot, they made an actual action figure of that they sold on the website. So you can go online and buy the Sir Laserlot figure. The skull looks kind of like Hordak.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that ties in somehow. But there you can see Triclops and Trapjaw, Evil Lyn, Merman, Skeletor, and Beastman. Here's another thing: is with a lot of He-Man fans are the whiniest little frickin' bricka. Like, they look at this.
Bricka.
Yeah, they look at this artwork
and they get all mad.
And they go, well, Beastman's horns are not supposed to be that tall. And the fins on Skeletor's arms are not supposed to stick out that far. And Evil Lyn's breastplates are not supposed to look like white bone. And, it's like this artist just sat down to draw him, and he's like, oh, I'm going to add a little flair here.
What's wrong with that?
Exactly. But they're all freaking out because these are not following the style guides to the exact T. That's not exactly what they're supposed to look like.
How boring would that be if you didn't change it up a little bit?
That's the fun of having different artists. It's like different artists draw Batman a little bit differently. Each puts their own touch on it. Each draws Superman a little bit differently. Puts their own little touch on him. But these people freak out because it didn't look exactly... Oh, they just light up the
message boards?
Oh, they were saying this was the biggest mistake in the history of Masters of the Universe. And
coming from a not-so-critical Masters fan, and I'm not really a big fan. All right, I said it. I'm not... I had the toys when I was a kid.
You watched the cartoon,
I watched the cartoon.
Yeah.
I had, probably all the toys. I gave them all to my cousin. I kept my G.I. Joes. I kept my Star Wars. I gave, every single He-Man toy to my cousin, and they're probably in a dumpster somewhere collecting. But anyways, I did like this comic book. I thought the art was cool. I thought the Laserlot character, you're instantly drawn to him. And this isn't like a real heavy read by any means. But if you just want something fun, and for only 99 cents on Comixology,
Now, the second issue that they've done is about Man-at-Arms.
Okay.
And yes, he does have the mustache the way he's supposed to, because he's supposed to be Tom Selleck. Let's be fair about this. But regardless, in this, there's some sort of mystical device, the Eye of Chrono, that gets stolen, and he's got to go get it back.
That only he can have if anybody tries.
No. It's not even that. It's a magical thing, and he doesn't like magic stuff. But the sorceress needs to get it back, so he's basically like, well, I'm a guy who kicks butt and gets stuff, so I'll get it back for you, basically is what he says. And it's almost like the action parts of, like a James Bond or a Die Hard or that type of thing, where he flies in the jet and he shoots a bunch of people and he gets into hand-to-hand combat and he grabs it and he makes his escape as the building explodes behind him and then he returns
fly out.
Yeah, that type of thing. So, it was a fun read. It was a nice little character study, It doesn't really seem to tie into the main series unless this Eye of Chrono thing reappears in the actual storyline. And again, they changed his outfit. They drew his outfit a little bit different, so I'm sure guys are freaking out about that. But overall, it's a fun story. It's a fun, stuff blows up. He's having a good time. Everything kind of works out at the end. And so, overall, I was happy with it. I think, the second one better, more than the first one, just because it didn't end on that cliffhanger thing. It wasn't really tied in. It was his own standalone thing.
Which I think was essential for the first issue, though. It had to do that. But.
So, and then there's the main He-Man in the Masters of the Universe is the one in print, which is Prince Adam gets attacked, and somehow they figured out that he's He-Man. He doesn't know how they figured out his secret.
Right.
Again, it's
how many issues are on the main one?
I think it's going to be 6 issues. I think right now all they've said is they're going to do the 6, and then if it sells well, they may do more.
Of the 2, which one were you more drawn to?
Well, I think the main story is just a deeper story.
A little better.
Just overall.
Right.
It's definitely better than the old cartoons. And I think it's more new reader friendly. There was a comic book series that came out from Image several years ago, And it was fine, but it was really, I think, in-depth and more for, like, the hardcore fans. And this is more of a sword and sorcery storyline that's more accessible, I think, to more people.
Need another Big Flats?
Yeah, give me another Big Flats. So, overall, I enjoy the main story. I think
I'm going to drink a Big Flats, too.
What?
Yeah.
You're going to drink a Big Flats?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you crack open that Big Flats and have a drink. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
That's right.
Opa! We'll be right back after this.
Hey guys, it's Killen. I'm here to discuss a new show coming every Monday on the Pop Culture Network. It is the Video Game Loser Show. Every week we'll discuss the news relating to video games. We're going to talk about some releases and have a short discussion on whatever random topic we think is relevant that week. It's going to star myself and, of course, I'm not, Dirk. So be sure to check us out on VGLosers.com, part of the Pop Culture Network.
Yeah! And, welcome back to the show that is looking for a new co-host. Someone to replace the Apocalypse. Send me a resume. If you live in the central Illinois area, perhaps you can work something out.
He's going to replace me with probably Charlie Sheen, I think, is who's next in line.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'd rather keep you.
5-year contract. You're stuck with him.
What?
What? I signed the papers. We'll talk about it later.
Why'd you sign it? Anyway.
Hit Girl.
All right, we are back. We were talking about random comics.
Yeah. Well, I was going to talk about Hit Girl next.
Oh, I need another beer, though.
Oh.
Since you're sitting right by the fridge, I'm going to make you do that before you get started.
Another Big Flats. Hey, don't knock over Nelson. You leave Nelson out of this.
All right, and then tell me about Hit Girl.
I really liked it. So I guess at the end of Kick-Ass 2, the last issue, which they haven't come out the next one yet, I don't believe, unless I'm really far
Well,
behind.
didn't it end with her being arrested
Yes.
and put in the back of a truck?
Well, she gets away.
Does she get away in this, or is she already away?
No, she's already away. She gets
so
away in disguise.
So they've missed an issue of Kick-Ass?
No, with the last Kick-Ass, she gets away.
Oh, she escapes in the last issue of Kick-Ass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought the last issue of Kick-Ass was her
getting arrested. And she conceals her identity. She goes back to being the little girl again.
Okay.
But her stepdad knows that she's Hit Girl.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I forget the whole why he doesn't out her or whatever.
Well, no, he knew that she was Hit Girl, but he didn't want her to do it anymore because he had been on the police force with her dad.
Right.
Remember, and he's the one who found their stash.
Right.
Everything.
So this is kind of, I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing or what's going on with this. It's issue 1.
It came out a while ago, and they haven't had a number 2 yet.
Yeah. Okay, well that's concerning. But it's obviously centralized around Hit Girl. But what I really liked about it is there's some flashes in the past of when she was being trained by her father. Some pretty intense moments. I don't want to actually spoil this too much because I think it's worthy of reading it for yourself and experiencing some of the drama in it. But there's some pretty graphic scenes of basically her offing baddies at a very early age. And she's reflecting on how much she actually respected her father, despite the fact that he was just kind of a loser and, was
the Batman wannabe.
Right. But, and then of course Red Mist is back, and he's even more maniacal than ever. Does some pretty awful things in this issue as well. and is basically
stuff you can't mention on a family-friendly show.
Well, the next in line was supposed to be Red Mist's whoever. What's his name? I can't remember. It was supposed to be Red Mist after his father died.
Oh, for the crime family.
But instead, this big-time crime boss is running it from jail.
Okay.
So Red Mist has vowed to basically put an end to him and Hit Girl and Kick Ass, and is just on a rampage. So
how does this? I mean, does this feel different than an issue of Kick Ass, or does it just feel like it's Kick Ass and it talks more about Hit Girl? I
think it feels more like Kick Ass talking more about Hit Girl.
Okay.
Like the art all seems. Oh, and then there's this cool part where, basically Hit Girl's father had another secret hideout, just loaded with weapons and everything they could possibly.
Oh, that's convenient.
Like another big secret bunker, you know. And she makes him take the same solemn vow she took to her father to become a superhero. So there's that one touching moment as well. So. Is it really touching, or is it just kind of like? No, it's kind of like a turning. It's okay. You can tell it's supposed to be like a turning point.
Okay.
Love Millar, love Romita Jr. I'm just a big fan.
A lot of people don't like Romita Jr.
Really? Yeah. I do. I really do.
His big blocky people.
I like that. I don't know. It's unique. It's different, but it's still the kind of stylized art that doesn't bore you at all. You know, it's. I don't know. I like it.
Okay.
Especially the gore scenes are just beautiful.
They do a lot of people getting shot in the face.
Yeah, a lot of bashing in the face and such. So Hit Girl issue 1, definitely get it. Kick-Ass 2, great stuff. If you haven't read any of the Kick-Ass 2, get out there, pick it off the rack. And obviously you've read Kick-Ass 1 because only cool comic book nerds that listen to our show would have already read all of the first Kick-Ass series by now.
Or I didn't read Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
I did. All right, so what about Batman and Robin?
Okay. Robin goes psycho and kills the bad guy on the floating ice casino, right?
Okay.
Can't remember the bad guy's name.
But not the Penguin.
No, not the Penguin. And does it right in front of Bruce Wayne. So there's like this turning point moment where Damian crossed the line and kills a bad guy.
Which Jason Todd did the same thing, and that led into the whole Joker killing Jason Todd.
Right. So I don't know. It really feels like to me that Damian's character in the end will never be able to be revived. Like his moral compass. I really feel that.
Well, he's been raised to be an assassin since he's been a child.
Which is interesting because I really want to see what Tomasai does with this. If it like turns into, he could go either way. You know, he could have a full recovery and all of a sudden like become this.
Well, does Batman
campy Robin, so to speak?
Does Bruce not trust him now?
I think he's scared to death of him. And you know what? That's what's great about the writing of this is all those undertones. I feel them. You know.
Well, have you read Batman Incorporated?
Just a couple of issues, random issues.
Well, they've only done 2. Of the relaunch.
Of the old. I read some of the old.
Okay, well, in the relaunch...
I didn't like it so much.
The second issue of the relaunch is all about Talia and Ra's al Ghul. And their whole relationship back and forth and how Damian comes into play and gets shoved off and how everything about Damian and Bruce has to do with the battle in between Talia and her dad.
Huh.
So it's like he's just a pawn. Damian's just a pawn in this other ongoing saga.
I don't like that.
Why?
Just seems like kind of a lame cop-out.
Well, go read it.
All right, well, I will. And then in issue 10, I'm sure I'm probably an issue or 2 behind because apparently I am. Oh, I've still got a stack this deep.
I don't know if 11 is out yet.
But anyways, issue 10, Robin has vowed to basically beat up all the other Robins. Past and,
that's right. He decides, and doesn't he take on Jason Todd first?
Yes.
Red Hood?
Yeah.
How does he do against Red Hood?
I don't remember. I think it just started into that in issue 10. I don't think they actually have it out. Let me check.
So now you got to read your comic for the show where you're supposed to have read your comics. Maybe we should just do another show where we just sit here and read.
No, he does kick his butt. He does kick his butt.
Like every 10 minutes we look at him and
go,
it's good.
It goes into the next villain, Terminus Maximus, I guess, or whoever this guy is, who's going to launch this, like, missile. I don't know.
So Robin defeats Red Hood?
Yes. Kicks his butt.
All right, then. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is a little badass kid for being, like, this little 11-year-old kid that, you know, is playing Robin. It's a completely different, like, it's a, what do you call it, paradox, you know? But I think in the end, in my eyes, I don't think he'll ever be able to be redeemed. I think he's going to do something heinous and turn into a bad guy.
But see, the thing, that's what happened with Red Hood.
Okay, well, I think maybe that's like the curse. The Robin curse.
Well, yeah, but
you
the first
die
Robin...
or turn into a bad guy.
But the first Robin is Nightwing.
I like Nightwing, yeah.
He didn't die or become a bad guy.
Maybe he's still... There's still time.
And Stephanie Brown,
yeah,
Batgirl, she was a Robin for a short time. Although we don't know where she is in this new universe, though.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, because she's
just not Batgirl.
Yeah. No, don't you get a... Don't they allude to her? Like she's in school with Barbara or something?
No, they did
in the beginning, or like maybe when it was phasing out before the relaunch.
No.
Okay.
No, in the New 52, she's just kind of gone.
Whoa!
Oh, you killed
Nelson.
You killed Nelson.
Oh, chaos.
Yeah, that was a good idea. Stacking up empty beer cans and then smacking his head.
I don't know. I thought for effect. I made effect.
For this great video everybody's watching.
What about Batman?
You mean Batman?
Batman. Oh, you
Batman?
got the combo pack.
I always buy the combo pack with the digital copy.
So, I know you don't like the art.
What about Batman?
I don't have 11.
Oh, someone didn't read the final part of the story.
No, you must have had a lot of time in your hand because usually you're way behind.
I know.
What's going on? Did you have to sit in a hospital for a night and like?
My dad did have the stroke.
It's true. How's he doing?
So thanks for bringing that up.
How's he going?
I'm glad we mentioned that here on the show.
You brought
just
it up.
Just bring it up. No, you're the one who... Did you spend time sitting in the hospital?
That was a joke.
Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, thanks a lot for bringing it up on the show. So again, looking for a new co-host. If you happen to live in the Central Illinois area.
Walla Walla, Washington.
We can bring
P.O.
you
Box 8675309.
That's a P.O. Box? That's a long P.O. Box number.
That's a phone number.
All right, so Batman. Well, okay, so Court of the Owls. This is the follow-up to Night of the Owls. We were kind of complaining Night of the Owls just kind of like...
Didn't really go any real solid
like
direction.
Night of the Owls didn't do anything worthwhile. The regular storyline was fine. And the fact that they said, oh, we're doing this big crossover with all these different books. And then none of the crossovers mattered.
You know why? Because all it was them fighting different owls. And like each story would have like a little backstory of each owl they were fighting. They'd fight the owl, kill the owl, bada bing. Like it never happened. Like, you know, it could have never happened.
So Night of the Owls, like I like the idea of Gotham City having the secret group, these assassins, this, you know, privileged community who's found some sort of secret to bring people back from the dead, to be their minions and whatever. Like all of that was fine. The idea of Night of the Owls as a crossover was a dud.
You didn't like the whole Mr. Freeze thing either, did you?
Well, I liked the annual with Mr. Freeze. I liked the way they changed his story. I liked the way they made his quote unquote wife was just some random chick.
Some other cryogenic.
So he's just crazy, you know. I liked that idea, but I mean overall, the stories didn't cross over. They didn't matter. Didn't make any difference to anything else. But with the story over, Night of the Owls ended, and now there's quote-unquote Court of the Owls, which is Batman 10 and 11, and those are awesome. Well, okay, wait, let me say that again. They have some awesome stuff, but the end of 11 is kind of like a...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it kind of falls on a turd at the end. But, okay, so let's talk over the big secret. The big secret... The big secret in Batman 10,
Jr.
Thomas Wayne Jr., Bruce's brother, the forgotten brother who was left in child institution. So what do you think of the revelation? Because this is not... Thomas Wayne Jr. is not a new character. He appeared in the 70s, did a couple stories where he had become this villain that Bruce had to bring down, and then he was kind of forgotten
stand up.
in the storyline. As someone who's not...
Oh, I got a hunch down.
You're fine. But as someone who doesn't get into all this comic book history and read all this old stuff, what did you think about suddenly it's your long-lost brother? Like, did that seem really cheesy to you, or were you excited by it?
I was a little excited. I was.
A little, but...
Not like, oh wow, this is like I gotta call up dirt and...
But were you like, oh, this is terrible, I can't believe they just bring a brother out of nowhere.
I didn't think it was terrible. I liked his costume. I like the whole... He's got like the ultimate owl costume. It's kind of like the anti-Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the backstory of Alfred's father.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was actually pretty interesting.
About how he kind of brought the curse onto the Wayne family by not getting involved in the whole conspiracy.
Right.
Okay, so Thomas Wayne Jr., Bruce's long-lost brother, he is upset because he didn't get the life of privilege. Right. He was left in this institution, which, interestingly enough, there's a documentary about this real-life mental hospital that was called Willowbrook, and it was basically a place where people with mental problems, children who were, abused or unwanted, were kind of taken and forgotten about and neglected.
That was that was for all the people to make sure that they were still watching
the video,
like strobe their minds for a second.
But what about the people just listening to the audio?
Oh well.
You guys didn't get that special look at the blinking light bulbs. We're sorry.
So anyway, but yeah, so there really was this institution that was terrible. Geraldo Rivera actually made a name for himself. How he got important was doing an expose on this place, where he basically just busted in with cameras and filmed it.
I thought he made his big expose when he was chasing those serial killers across the country.
No, you're thinking of Natural Born Killers.
Oh,
and that was Robert Downey Jr.
That didn't happen?
With a really bad Australian accent.
That wasn't him.
Well, I mean, that was real, but that was Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, okay.
Robert Downey Jr. used to work for a Current Affair.
Robert Downey Jr. is not Geraldo Rivera.
Correct.
Oh.
That's why their names are different.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe it was,
but anyway, so this Willowwood institution actually existed.
I was trying to get him completely off subject.
And I just come right back to it. Because I'm used to talking to you. You do that, not in a podcast.
No. Naturally.
So anyway, the idea that he's pissed off because he didn't get that life of privilege.
I like cats. Do you like cats?
And so you can call area code 217-953-4025. Just let me know if you've ever done a podcast. If you got a demo reel, that'd be great.
So the expose of the
and also if you're female, then you're automatically in. And you don't have to be super hot or anything. Just as hot as me. If you're as pretty as I am, then that's all we're really looking for. So anyway,
or you could be a man dressed as a woman that's as pretty as him. He's fine with that too.
Drew Carey's brother.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure, why not?
So the expose on the
institution. So this idea that he feels like he missed out on this life of privilege actually has this basis in real life of this actual place where people are supposed to go as a sanctuary. They're supposed to go there to get help, to be taken care of, and instead they were being neglected and covered in feces. And in the real world story of this place, it was so bad that apparently a janitor who worked there became a serial killer.
Oh, wow.
Because he thought that everybody who had a mental retardation was unwanted by society, so he thought he was doing society a favor by killing them. Not really vigilante. He just thought that he would make the world happier by killing mentally retarded people.
So he's like the Kevorkian of janitor.
He was like a eugenics a Dr. Kevorkian. But so anyway, I mean, the story has like this actual basis in fact, which I thought was interesting. That most people probably aren't going to get, but at least it's there on the level for people who do know it and do get it and like it. So, but you haven't read issue 11.
No.
Okay.
You're never this caught up. How did you get so caught up? Reverting back to.
I put ice cream sandwich on my Kindle.
Oh, you just.
And now that it's like working super great, I'm just reading everything except the books you read.
Cross Badlands?
Yeah, I don't read that.
You don't read that?
I don't read crap.
I
don't read garbage.
It's so twisted. And this new series, you've got even more amoral characters, a lot of brutality.
I've read up to the point where the guy is infected and he's narrating the story, and he's narrating as he starts to change, like as he can feel it.
He doesn't last very much longer.
Burning through him.
So I'm not gonna talk about it then.
Well, you can talk about it.
Yeah.
You can talk about whatever you want.
There's boobies in it.
You can come to my basement. I got popsicles
in my basement. Bring me some good news. Can't do the whistle part though.
Do turtles. What's going on in turtles?
Turtles. Well, there's this.
Wait, did we talk about this on the last show or on the show where you spilled beer on my laptop and we stopped recording?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The show that nobody's seen
Right.
because halfway through the show,
he was trying to get me to buy him another laptop, so he came over here one night
and made you spill beer.
We were
Is that what
doing a
happened?
podcast. Yeah, never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've got the micro series Splinter going on, which coincides with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing, where Splinter is facing off with
Shredder.
Thank you for participating. And Hob, isn't his name Hob?
Old Hobbs, the cat.
Hobbs, yeah, he's there. There's this mutated fox chick.
Well, okay, so what do you think about the whole
But it's like the end, like the standoff. It's like the end of the arc for the ongoing title. The Splinter micro series kind of leads up to the final battle, where Splinter's facing off a bunch of the Foot clan. And
well, how do you feel about the whole thing where it's not just a bunch of animals get hit by this toxic waste and become humanized? How do you think about the whole reincarnated spirits?
I think it's cool.
You like the
yes.
reincarnated spirits in there?
Yes.
Why do you like it? I'm not disagreeing with you.
Because it gives a better explanation of it's more easier to swallow than just like a mutant ooze pours on them and they turn into really intelligent rats and turtles and cats. Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a good story. I really like it. I try to read it all, but I'm probably behind as well. I'm on issue 11.
No, I think that's the most recent. Yeah.
Issue 11, I think.
Did they? What's the background of Shredder? Have they said?
Shredder killed Splinter's kids and himself and his wife.
Okay.
Splinter is.
But the wife has not appeared anywhere.
No.
Okay.
There's a flashback of her in the past.
But the turtles
where Splinter remembers being human,
but the turtles are his kids, right?
Yes.
So he actually in real life he taught his kids martial arts.
Right. That's why they're so.
They all get reincarnated.
Right.
He comes back as the rat. They come back as the turtles.
You got it. You got it, Mike.
But she has not appeared yet.
No.
So I think she's going to appear somewhere. I think she's got to make an appearance. She's got to come back as something, right?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Well,
so.
I mean, wouldn't she?
Right.
Because if they're going to reveal everyone else has come back, everyone else who has turned into one of these animal creatures.
Maybe Mama's just in the grave. Why got to bring back all these sore subjects?
So how come the men get to come back, but the women folk?
Because they can't fight.
Have to stay. I mean, is the kitchen in the coffin?
I
mean, how come the women don't get to come back?
And you know what? And here we get accused of being sexist.
And it's not
us. I can't
believe
it. I can't believe
it. IDW Comics hates women.
Yes.
Let's just say it. Let's just say it the way it is.
Are we trying to get another publisher to not like us?
What do you mean? Every publisher likes us.
Yeah.
Every person working in comics values our opinion.
Yeah, right. It makes me want to go get another bus though when I read this.
A VW?
Yes, I had a 1978 Volkswagen microbus. It was very much fun. And this is basically mine, but not the camper version. So, oh well.
All right. Well, we need to take a quick commercial break.
Yeah. So, what do you like?
Oh yeah, I love Turtles.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's genius.
What about the color? What's the other one? The something colors? Or?
Well, Color Classics.
Color
That's just the
Classics.
original '84 series that's being reprinted in color.
Okay.
It's just going through a brand new coloring process, and then they're just
I haven't read it
reprinted.
yet. So I don't know.
It's just the original series. If you read the original comics from back in the '80s, then you've read them.
Okay.
But if you have not read them, then now's your opportunity to see what all the fuss was about.
Aye.
All right.
Aye, Captain.
Aye. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to do the hula. No, not now. I said when we come back, jerk.
Hey guys, it's Killen. I'm here to discuss a new show coming every Monday on the Pop Culture Network. It is the Video Game Loser Show. Every week we'll discuss the news relating to video games. We're going to talk about some releases and have a short discussion on whatever random topic we think is relevant that week. It's going to star myself and, of course, I'm not, Dirk. So be sure to check us out on bglosers.com, part of the Pop Culture Network.
Yeah.
No, Creepy would be like...
So, looking for a new co-host. Welcome back to Comiholics.
Everything went wrong when we went to video. That's when the band broke up.
Man, I had to play the barbecue and potatoes, and now I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah.
It's 11:42. It's 87 degrees outside. I've had more beer than my body weight. I'm ready for a nap.
Snap to it.
So this is going to be a super exciting segment of the show.
You're okay.
As I
You're
just,
okay.
I just, Right! Hello, nipple. What? What's happening?
You awake now?
No. All right. So what are we talking about? What did you just read?
We're going to talk
you
about...
just read something.
Before Watchmen, I just finished the Minutemen #2.
Well, here, let's start with this. Did you read the original Watchmen?
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
Nope.
Interesting.
Bits and pieces.
Interesting.
I get the gist.
That's what she said. All right. Did you watch the movie then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you more or less know that.
The theme.
The story, the deal,
Right.
what's going on. All right. So
How many issues was the original?
it's 12.
Okay.
Okay. So before Watchmen, we've got Minutemen, Night Owl, Silk Spectre, and Ozymandias. There's
Which is
still
not the name of the cover of a Dead album, even though it sounds like it.
what?
What?
What's the Dead album?
Grateful Dead. It sounds like a cover.
Oh, Grateful Dead. That's what you
Yeah.
meant. Oh, now it's all clear.
Yeah.
What's the name of their album?
It's like Aoxymoxoa or something, or Oxyma. I can't pronounce it.
Isn't it a palindrome?
Oximus. Yeah.
All right. Comedian, Minutemen, Night Owl, Silk Spectre. There's still Dr. Manhattan yet to come out with the big naked blue guy. But he's wearing black underwear in this version.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing that thing. So anyway, the ones out now, already out, Minutemen 1 and 2, Comedian 1, Night Owl 1, and Silk Spectre 1.
Right.
So, let's start with Minutemen, since it has 2 issues to it.
Right.
How do you feel about Minutemen?
Well, I'm trying to refresh my memory here.
Basically, there's...
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, there's...
Start off for me.
It's Red Hood, right? Is that who it is in the future? And he's written his autobiography.
Right, and not so good stuff.
Right, he basically
About
comes
the
clean about
Minutemen.
everything. And his agent, publisher, whatever, comes to him and is like, you can't release this, it's not okay. But as he starts reminiscing about what happened, we get these flashbacks of what it was like in the 40s, or the 30s, whatever it was, I think it was the 40s, who these different characters
World War
were,
II's going on.
how they came together, the secrets between some of them.
Yeah, and also it's almost like a publicity stunt at first, too. Like, Silk Spectre as an agent, and he's using her to...
You mean in the 40s?
Yes.
In the 40s. Okay, yeah. In the 40s, Silk Spectre's
39. There you go.
handler,
Yeah.
he will basically like set up crimes for her to
Right.
break them up so that she can be in the papers, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And they basically realize that they can form this super team, and everybody, will get a cut of the pay and become famous, and they can sell lunch boxes and make money, and all this type of stuff starts happening.
So you see some of the original characters, and then you also get a peek at who's that with the baseball bat in his hand?
Well, that's the comedian.
The comedian. You get a peek at the comedian and Night Owl. Night Owl.
Yeah, the first Night Owl.
Night Owl. So it's kind of like the precursor to the first group of Minutemen, because isn't there a second group? Isn't there like a reform group, like Minutemen?
Well, like the
30s,
Watchmen are basically like the Minutemen.
Right. So this is just like the formation of the Minutemen, and the way they're kind of put together, it is almost like a publicity stunt. It's not so they can go out and fight crime. It's to make money and
Right, because there are certain cases they don't want to take because they're not as good to be associated with as some of these other cases that they can be associated with and get in the papers. And that kind of rubs some of them the wrong way, which, makes sense. I can understand that.
And then the second issue that I just read was trying to pull it up here, sorry.
Minutemen number 2?
Number 2. And what's the guy with the lasso around his neck?
Red Hood?
Red Hood. He's basically the supervillain taking place in these...
well, no, he's one of the heroes.
But he's twisted.
He's not straight.
Right.
And he seduces another male member, and what he has in mind for their tryst makes some of the other members very uncomfortable when they find out what's going on. It's very controversial, touchy.
Well, and weren't the Watchmen? It was pretty controversial too.
Yeah, to be fair, it was. And this is trying to push some of those boundaries. And
I do love, like, what is this page? What page is this? Page 9 of the second issue, where they're
all the different characters trying out for the team.
The tryout. You got like the Frogman. You got Liberty Lassie. You got some dude named Hank, who's basically got like a chicken bucket over his head with his eyes cut out, and a sweater that looks like he's worn for like 20
dirty,
years.
he's got holes.
It says Hank on it, and that's his name, Hank. And then there's a dude that can fly. And then there's Iron Lid, and then my favorite, the Slut. She likes to take off.
I like to take off my clothes and do things.
Yeah.
Next.
So there's a little bit of campiness in there, which I like it when they dabble with that a little bit. Watchmen was kind of like that too, wasn't it? I mean, it was serious, dark undertone, but yet kind of a dark humor behind it.
Dark humor, maybe. This is much lighter in a lot of spots. I mean, it gets dark and twisted as well, but this also has moments that are a lot funnier and lighthearted. I love the artwork On this book?
It's got that stylized retro 50s feel.
Right. Which, I mean, it doesn't look like a comic book from the 50s.
But it has that kind of air about it.
Right. It definitely, the style definitely works on that one. What do you think about some of the other books? What do you think about, okay, first of all, what about Silk Spectre?
Well, Silk Spectre starts out where, what's her daughter's name? She's in The Watchmen.
Yeah, well, she becomes Silk Spectre.
Right, but
Silk Spectre 2, whatever.
It starts off with basically Silk Spectre and her daughter. I'm totally hunched away from the camera here.
Yeah, the camera doesn't matter. Those people don't care.
They don't care. And then their twisted relationship because, Silk Spectre is basically retired at this point, kind of a has-been.
She had done a porno movie and make some money. And so the daughter...
Rode hard.
The daughter is...
And she's still been trained
mad.
By Silk Spectre, though, at the same time.
She's been trained to take over, but she doesn't want the legacy.
Right.
Everything her mom stands for is everything she hates, basically.
So then it's kind of that story of the daughter.
She goes off to be a peace-love hippie.
She runs into this boy that she likes, and they start hanging out.
Girls have this thing for boys.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. Chicks, man.
So,
chicks.
It was an interesting story.
It was okay. I mean, it was one of those... I just kind of read it, and... She was a little whiny.
I wish they would have delved into a little bit more of what made Silk Spectre 2 a little twisted, too, because she wasn't always quite right.
Well, but...
more of the abuse from the mother kind of thing. I would have maybe liked to see more of that whole...
She just kind of comes off as...
childhood.
She just kind of comes off as whiny.
Yeah.
It's like your mom made some mistakes.
Teen. Yeah.
Just get over it,
You did a porno movie! Yeah. So how many issues are they going with each of these? Do you know?
Some are 6 and some are 4.
Okay.
Just kind of depends. The Comedian.
I liked it.
The Comedian, as we know, is a not-so-good guy.
No, he's a gun for hire, basically.
No, but in Watchmen,
right?
You've seen the movie or read the comics. You know that he's not really a good guy.
He's not a good man. Yeah.
And he's a friend of the Kennedys, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and he kills Marilyn Monroe.
Allegedly.
Well, you see a blonde lady, a bunch of pills on the table, like that. Well, there's a conversation where he's like hanging out at the Kennedy or at the White House or whatever, hanging out with the Kennedys, and they're talking basically how they have to get rid of her. And anyways, so it's kind of cool.
Allegedly.
I like how it's always kind of like this twist on real history. You know what I'm saying? Like the Watchmen did that. It was kind of like an
alternate history
of our own real history. So, kind of neat. There's Jackie in there talking to the comedian, and just that whole twisted morality of the comedian. There he is. Mm. Yeah. Doing dirty stuff to Marilyn Monroe.
Didn't the movie insinuate that he had been the shooter on the grassy knoll that shot JFK?
Mm-hmm.
And yet here at the end of this book,
he's friends with the Kennedys.
Well, he's friends with the Kennedys, but then he's somewhere else when JFK gets murdered. So I'm a little... I guess he's being set up. They think he's going to take the rap for...
That's right, because he's like at a bar or something?
Well, no, he's like... He goes to beat up this other dude.
That's right.
Kill all his men, whatever.
He crashes into like this guy who's got the really bad goatee.
Yes, really bad goatee man. I believe that was his name in the script.
Yeah.
And they're finding out that Kennedy's been shot, and he's there. So obviously he didn't do it.
But he gets framed.
So I mean, what the hell?
He gets framed.
Obviously, it doesn't pan out, so something must happen. Are you gonna keep reading?
Yeah, I will.
Comedian?
I mean, it's interesting. There's some depth to the stories. You don't have to have I mean, really, you could have just watched The Watchmen, the movie, I think.
Or read the original series.
Or read the original series. But I'm just
saying,
like,
it probably would take you less time to read the original 12 issues
than
to watch the movie.
Yeah. And then we're missing one. What's the other one's name? Ozzy Osbourne,
Osmandius.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I've got it actually.
Which he's probably the most interesting.
I've got it sitting right here.
There you go.
Digital copy included, but have not read it.
Have you claimed your digital copy yet?
I have claimed my digital copy. That's the first thing I do is claim my digital copy.
You should give it to me.
Actually, I do have a couple codes I can give you.
Okay, there we go.
For different books.
Now we're talking.
But anyway.
We haven't read Night Owl, or I haven't read Night Owl. Have you read Night Owl?
Oh, I read Night Owl.
Was it good?
I like that one a lot.
Was that the best one so far? Am I missing out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am going. Well, I haven't, not having read Osmandius. So far, I'm going to say that Night Owl is my favorite of all the ones that have come out so far. It is basically the straight superhero book. Night Owl 1 taking over for Night Owl 2.
Ooh, Rorschach.
He's not in this issue though.
But they tease you with Rorschach on one of the variant covers.
Because he is his friend later on.
Right.
Well, do you know the whole story of the Watchmen and the Charlton Comics universe? Okay. Basically,
but you're going to tell me.
Yes, I am. But you're about to get a history lesson.
Okay.
There was a company called Charlton Comics. They did a bunch of comics in, I guess, the 70s, maybe the 60s, 70s. And they did characters like Blue Beetle and The Question.
Oh, I think we've talked about this. Yes.
And and Captain Atom.
Right.
All of these characters in The Watchmen were originally going to be those Charlton characters. Right. DC Comics bought the rights.
But they didn't get all the characters.
No, they got the characters. Here's what happened. Charlton was going out of business. So DC swooped in and said, we'll buy the copyrights to all those characters. And then once they had all those characters, they said, well, we don't know what to do with them. So Alan Moore had this idea for the storyline. So they gave him the characters, and he wrote this story about Blue Beetle and The Question and Captain Atom and all of those guys. And then one of the editors at DC said, you know what? I like some of these characters. They're too valuable to just, piss them away in the story, have them kill people and rape people, and, some of them are good guys and some aren't so good guys. I don't just want to get rid of them like this. So they took the characters back and reintroduced them into the DC universe, and then he reworked those characters as the Watchmen. So there's a character, The Question, who's a guy who puts putty on his face and releases a gas, and it makes his face disappear. So he looks like he has a blank face. Well, that became Rorschach. He just made it as a guy who's got the mask with the blobs on it. Captain Atom, who you know from the new DC, New 52.
Is Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan, that was supposed to be Captain Atom, and they just turned it into Dr. Manhattan. So all of these characters were these characters in this other universe. So when I'm reading Night Owl, that's actually Blue Beetle. The original Blue Beetle, who was friends with Booster Gold.
Crazy.
So that's who that's supposed to be. And there was this other version of Blue Beetle, who was just this guy who wore, like a jumpsuit and had the head mask. And then at some point it switched to this newer version who had the goggles, and he had the little flying bug in the air. And so Night Owl is that character. So I actually loved the classic Blue Beetle stories. Like when I started getting into comics, reading those original Charlton comics, I loved those stories. So one thing I like about Night Owl is that it sticks a lot with, obviously they're making their own history with it. They're changing a lot of stuff, but it sticks with the idea of him as the hero, him as the vigilante, and who Night Owl is really sticks with who Blue Beetle was, and so I really enjoy that. So far, that one has been my favorite, and there's Rorschach making his appearance at the end of the book.
Yeah, good stuff.
So you haven't read that one. I would suggest sit down and read that one.
Okay.
The rest
I just
of the way
kind of
through.
scanned through it there, but yeah.
Okay.
All right. Last topic of discussion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Walking Dead 100.
Walking Dead. I need smoke. I need smoke.
Hard pill to swallow. Your fake vapor smoke.
My fake smokes.
He's being environmentally friendly to me.
It's not environmentally friendly.
I don't know.
I'm just not getting lung cancer. All right. So Walking Dead 100. I guess we should go ahead and spoil it because it's the top-selling comic of the year.
Everybody's read it.
Everyone's read it. Everyone knows what happens. So, basically, you've had this group, Naga,
right?
I guess is the guy's name. He's apparently
tormenting people.
He's apparently been terrorizing the civilization that's left. And so Rick says that his group will stand up to him and they'll fight him off. And in issue 100, they don't make it to the Hilltop City in time, so they decide to camp out for the night, play it safe, keep a watch, and then they'll take off the next morning and go back to the Hilltop City, get reinforcements and weapons and whatever. And in the middle of the night, they are captured and attacked by Naga's men. And Naga basically tells them, you are not the hero, you are not going to take over, you cannot win, I am in control here, everything changes from this point forward, and to prove my point, I've got to kill one of you. So he wants to kill Rick, but he won't kill Rick because Rick is the...
And don't you love it? The bad guy is like this 50s greaser leather jacket with the baseball bat with the barbed wire wrapped around it. He's just like this quintessential...
He's so cheesy. He's very cheesy.
He is cheesy, but he's got this stonewall bad guy thing going, where he seems indestructible.
Well, yeah, and he's got this group of 50 men or whatever with him to help protect him. But he basically says, I got to kill one of you. I'm not going to kill Rick because he's of course the leader. He'll become a martyr.
Right.
I'm not going to kill the boy. I'm not going to kill the girl.
He already looks like a little badass.
Right.
Or something.
I'm not going to kill the girl because that would be sexist. I'm not going to kill the Chinese guy. That would make me racist. I'm not going to kill the black lady because that would make me racist. So
he doesn't eeny, meeny,
so
miny,
yeah,
mo.
he's like, so I don't know who to choose. It's got to be random. And he does the eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and he stops on Glenn.
And you are it.
So
I wish you could see this, but it's...
He grabs Glenn and he takes the barbed wire baseball bat and he whacks him in the head.
What's so... the first whack, when he hits him on the head... And you could tell he's just trying to say Maggie. It's like...
Well, at first, the first half of the page, he doesn't look that bad.
Right.
And you think that, he got hit, but, how bad can it be? And then you've got this close-up, and it's like his head is crushed in, blood running down his face, out his nose, eyeballs popping out of his head. He's, just really in terrible shape.
Intense.
And so then... he starts trying to call out to Maggie, and he can't quite form the words.
Well, he does at the very end.
And
he says Maggie.
Maggie!
And he's just like...
and then he's
brain dead.
He just beats the crap out of him. And just...
Oh, the last scene...
Just totally smashes his head in with the baseball bat, and just kills him.
His jaw's ready to fall off in the second to last scene.
And Rick says, I'm going to kill you. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I'm going to kill you. And he's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because, this is how it is now.
But it's almost so brutal, it looks like an R. Crumb drawing. Because, his eyeballs, dangling out and stuff. It's just
Now, here's my thing with this storyline, okay? Kirkman gave an interview, and he said, we're kind of moving on to something beyond zombies. This is the civilization that's grown out afterwards. Zombies are still there. They're still a threat. But they're not going to be in there as much. Now it's dealing with this new society.
Glenn.
And honestly, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, I don't know that I care about this new society.
You like it better when it was more the survival of the zombies?
I like the zombies.
Yeah.
I like the zombie survival. And now he says we're moving on to something different.
Now it's like the zombies are just the distraction to fend off from.
Right. And granted, part of the strength of the story has always been the characters. It's never really been about the zombies as much as it's been about these characters trying to survive. But that's one of the problems I've had with the last 10 issues or so. Because the last 10 issues have really not been about zombies. There's only been 1 or 2 times that they've had to worry about zombies. And that was I think the No Way Out storyline, where they're in that town, they think they're safe, the zombies start to break through, they realize they're trapped.
Right.
They got to come up with something else. But if the storyline is going to move into this whole Mad Max society, I'm not so sure that I'm going to want to keep reading it with as much enthusiasm as I have for the past 100 issues. You know what I mean? Like, am I alone in that?
Actually, I'm still distracted that they picked Glenn.
Well, of course he picked Glenn.
Yeah, he's the no account.
Well, no, he's got to make it somebody that you care about.
I know, we talked about this. He's significant, but yet if he's gone, he's not vital to the group. And it also gives that whole tie-in to how are we going to keep Maggie with the group instead of running off to Hilltop to have her child.
Well,
now
and
she has to stick with the group.
I mean, it plays along with the whole... Glenn has been there since...
the very beginning.
You know, issue 6, issue 5, whatever it was, where he shows up. So, I mean, the only other people you could kill who have been there that long are Rick or Carl, and they are, of course, safe.
I hope Maggie gets to kill this dude. I hope there's some justice, and she's the one that gets to kill this bad guy.
Do you think that'll happen, or do you think they'll just escape? Do you think they'll just
run away?
Eventually break off and get on a boat and go somewhere?
You know what? I'm starting to get the feeling that it's almost time to start wrapping it up. You know? I don't know. I mean,
it gets to
I love this series. I do. I mean, I cherished reading every issue. It's just, but it's getting to the point now where it's like, the creative gel behind the original thrust that made it so moving. Like you said, you know, it's zombie centered. People losing their moral compass from their original, you know.
Right. Well, and also, here's the thing. Like, there was a storyline he started somewhere around issue 60, I want to say, where they found a guy who said that he had worked for the government.
Right.
He knew
but he was a liar.
Right, but he said he worked for the government. He knew what had happened. He wanted to get to Washington, D.C. He wanted to find out whatever. And they went along with him, and they were trying to find it out. And I was really interested in how they were going to explain the zombies, where they came from,
right,
how the outbreak happened. And once he kind of turned away from that, I think my interest started to wane a little bit. Because my interest is in the zombies. You know, I want to know how the outbreak happened. I want to know who was behind it. I want to know what the rules are for the zombies, you know.
Like cardio and double tap and...
Well, and just the idea of, you know...
always look behind the back seat.
Like in the TV show, they've explained
Happy
the
Days?
whole... Yes, Happy Days. In the TV show, they've explained the whole, like, if an old person dies, they become a zombie.
Right.
Because it's a virus, right? But they haven't explained that in the comic. If someone dies from a regular wound...
Yeah, they haven't even said if it's even really a virus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does somebody come back? In this series, I think you have to be bitten in order to come back.
Right.
If someone falls off a bridge and breaks their neck, I don't think they come back as a zombie, do they? I mean, have they ever dealt with that situation? Where
in the comic?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, I don't think so. And so that's the type of stuff that interests me. That's what I want to know.
In the same breath, how interesting is that for a comic book writer to be able to take an already successful story and then do the what ifs on a TV show? I think that would be exciting. I bet you that's probably the creative challenge that Kirkman is enjoying right now, is the fact that he can change it up a little bit, deviate from the direction. But maybe, you know, and I really think because it is a TV show, that's why we're getting more of the explanation of why,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To keep the interest. We've talked about this before. To keep the interest of the everyday, you know,
right.
TV
but
watching,
my interest,
comic book reading people.
But my real interest is the zombies and that story, not like the Governor Part 2. Right. That's what this is. The Governor Part 2. You know, and like I understand what he's saying in as far as wanting to evolve the story. But to me, there's so much more about the zombies they haven't talked about, and that's what I'm more interested in.
Weren't you just so creeped out, though, by Glenn dying and the way he died?
Oh, obviously. Yeah. I mean, it stuck with me for a while.
It's just so brutal, because you kind of love Glenn.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he's the most likable guy on the TV show and in the comic.
Right. What a brutal ending, too. There's no...
So, yeah, I mean, it's really sad. It is sad that he had to go. But, I mean, it's a horror comic. You're supposed to be sad. You're supposed to be
depressed,
revulsed by it.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm glad that they are going a little bit more towards that direction again, where the shock and awe
Right.
It's not zombies doing it though. It's this other guy that, the greaser bad guy.
I still like the zombies though.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I like at the end though when he walks away and the group's still tied. Or a couple of them are still got their hands tied behind their backs. No, I guess really they don't. But they're all on their knees, and Glenn's just a bloody mess. And the dude walks away and he's like, ta-ta. I don't know, it's pretty brutal. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of criticism about issue 100. I'd like to hear some of that feedback. You can email us. Give us your feedback. Well, tell me what you think about issue 100.
What's your email address?
Apocalypse@popculturenetwork.com.
Nope.
It's ineedcomics.com.
There you go.
There we go. I always get that one wrong.
Or at apocalypse@comaholics.com.
Comiholics. That's right. I have that one too.
We do have comaholics.com. If you want to check out past episodes of this show, you can go there and check it out. Don't forget to go to popculturenetwork.com. You can check out all our other great coverage on things like toys and video games, comic books, all the other great stuff that we cover there. And now we have a new URL. You can go to jointheforums.com. It'll take you directly to our message board. You can sign up there. You can talk to other great people who love to talk about comic books, video games, toys, TV shows, movies, music.
It's all bots. There's not actual people there.
And you can also go to shoppcn.com, buy things like toys, video games, comic books, DVDs, CDs, and everything you buy there helps to keep our network going.
That's right.
So we enjoy that you do that. Instead of running that, we could run, like Google AdSense ads on everything, make you watch Honda commercials, or you could just go to shoppcn.com and buy something. It's up to you. Let us know what's going on. So that's going to wrap it up for this show. It is midnight 11. So I need to get home, get some sleep.
Yeah. You don't sound well.
I need to get some sleep. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching.
See ya.
We'll see you next time. You do jazz hands?
Mm-hmm.
On purpose?
Uh-huh.